Hello friends, welcome to the platform of Darshanik. This is Akshay Kadam. So guys, today on this platform of Darshanik, we are going to discuss one important topic, okay, that belongs to two part of your syllabus, okay, that is ethics paper as well as social issue from GS 1 paper. Okay, and one such a debate which involves lot of ethical moral reasoning as well as debate about the societal conditions of India or of the world in general. Okay, that we are going to take today, and that debate is whether death penalty should it be abolished. Okay, so death penalty, many countries practice death penalty. In many countries, death penalty have been abolished. Okay, and in many countries they are exercising with lot of restraint. Okay, and recently also in Qatar, okay, few Indian naval officers were given death penalty. Okay, and now Indian government is working to ensure that these people will get rescued safely and there won't be death penalty execution. So in this slide, I wanted to discuss this social issue with you, ethical issue with you, that death penalty, does it have any utility as such? Okay, that due to death penalty, whether there is a reduction in crime, or death penalty is a kind of provides, okay, retributive justice to the people or so on. So whether death penalty has any utility, and whether, and largely the major argument banning death penalty, that is that death penalty acts as a deterrent. So whether it really acts as a deterrent or not, that we will discuss, okay, in this debate. So whether it should be abolished, argument in support, argument and against. But before that, we will discuss some statistics about death penalty in India, and along with that, we will discuss whether it has any constitutional mandate in India and whether it has any legal mandate in India. Okay, so today's topic, guys, death penalty, should it be abolished? So guys, first point that we need to discuss here is whether death penalty in Indian constitution, in Indian law, whether there is any legal mandate for that. Okay, and guys, yes, there is a legal mandate for death penalty in Indian constitution. So is there a constitutional mandate? So yes guys, Article 21 of Indian Constitution, which talks about right to life and liberty, and this article also mentions that this right to life and liberty can be deprived. Okay, any person's fundamental right to life can be deprived under two conditions, that is procedure established by law and due process of law. So by due process of law and procedure established by law, right to life can be deprived, which indirectly Indian Constitution recognizes that death penalty can be given. Okay, and death penalty can be given, but only through a judicial trial. Okay, by procedure established by law. Okay, there should be a parliament ka law, and as per that law, okay, judicial system should try the person through procedure established by law, through due process of law, and accordingly, okay, punishment must be given, exercised. And then Article 34, restriction on rights conferred by this part while martial law is in force. So Article 34, which deals, okay, with the martial law, and Article 34 also says that there is a restriction on rights conferred by this part, okay, while martial law is in force. So आपके जो fundamental rights के जो सारे articles हैं, उस पे restriction can be put, okay, when martial law is in force. Article 34 says. So enforcing martial law indirectly recognizes, okay, that death penalty or right to life can be deprived. Fundamental rights can be restricted during the condition of martial law, when martial law is in force. Okay. At the same time, Article 72 and 161 of Indian Constitution, Article 72 that deals with pardoning power of the president, while Article 161, okay, deals with the pardoning power of the governor, that president or governor, okay, can use, okay, their pardoning power, and there they can pardon the death sentence, okay, or commute the death sentence, etc. So president can pardon the death sentence, governor can't pardon, so he can commute the death sentence or exercise any other option. So, but Article 72 and 161, pardoning power of president, okay, and governors, okay, indirectly recognize that there can be death penalty which president can pardon, or there can be death penalty which governor, okay, can commute, remit, etc. So this article also indirectly recognizes the existence of death penalty in Indian Constitution. Okay, so as per Indian Constitution, guys, Article 21, Article 34, Article 72, 161, directly, indirectly recognize existence of death penalty. That means death penalty has a legal mandate in India. Okay. उसके बाद whether death penalty has any these article show that there is a constitutional mandate. Now we will see whether there is any legal mandate. And for legal mandate, guys, is there legal mandate? So first is IPC 302. So IPC 302, whoever commits murder shall be punished with death sentence. Okay. Now in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, these articles will get updated, but IPC 302 recognizes this death penalty. So Indian Penal Code or Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has a provision of death penalty. Then section 354(5) of CRPC also recognizes death penalty. So describes method hanging by neck till the convict is dead. Okay. So now Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita will recognize death penalty, but in CRPC, okay, there is a procedure that how you need to execute death penalty. That person should be hanged by neck till death, which recognizes indirectly the existence of death penalty, gives it legal mandate. Then Army Act, Navy Act, Air Force Act recognize death punishment for security, for sentry sleeping, intoxication. So in Army, there is Army Act, there is Navy Act, there is Air Force Act, and all these three acts, okay, recognize the death penalty. Okay, in cases of like sleeping, in sentry sleeping, that on duty, frontline combat duties, in bunker, if any soldier sleeps or is under influence of alcoholic substances like intoxicated, etc. So for such a conditions, okay, Army, Navy, Air Force Act do recognize death penalty can be given. So this death penalty, guys, okay, is recognized in the law. Now we don't know, or I don't have the available statistics that how many personnels were actually given death penalty using these provisions. So Army Act, Navy Act, Air Force Act, okay, but these acts have this provision. Now how much it get exercised, that even I don't know. Then 22 legislations in India recognize death penalty. Okay, for example, POXCO or many other provisions, like in rape cases, if girl is below 12 years of age and she gets raped, then there is a death penalty is recognized. And many such heinous crimes and other cases, sedition, terrorism, Naxalism related laws. So overall, India made 22 laws exist which recognize the death penalty. Okay. Then Supreme Court in Bachan Singh versus State of Punjab case. So this Bachan Singh versus State of Punjab case, Supreme Court also gave the legal mandate to death penalty, where Supreme Court has used or created the doctrine of rarest of the rare cases. And in this Bachan Singh case, Supreme Court has clearly said that in rarest of the rare cases, death penalty can be exercised, death penalty can be given, but only in cases of rarest of the rare, using rarest of the rare doctrine. So rarest of the rare cases may be death penalty must be or can be given. So these provisions show that there is a legal mandate to the death penalty in India. So now if there is a constitutional mandate, if there is a legal mandate, then how many people are actually punished using the death penalty? So we will see some statistics regarding India. Okay, how many people are on death row and how many were actually executed, and what's the statistical condition in this regard. So guys, around 539 people are under death sentence, okay, at the end of 2022. Okay, so 539 people have been finally given death penalty by High Court, Supreme Courts, okay, and they are waiting on a death row. Okay, by the end of 2022, 539 people waiting have been given this sentence of death penalty. Out of these 539 people, guys, 165 people, okay, trial court sentenced 165 people to death penalty in year 2022 alone, which is the highest in last 2 decades. Okay, so एक ही साल में इतने ज़्यादा लोगों को death penalty देना, okay, was that thing happened in 2022, and that's why trial court sentenced 160 people to death in 2022, the highest number in a year in the last 2 decades. And now you have to remember, guys, that's why this topic becomes very important from current affair perspective, from social issue perspective, or even for ethics paper perspective, because 2022 में one of the first like last 20 years में Okay, सबसे ज़्यादा death penalties have been given by the trial courts, and that is 165 people sentenced to death penalty. Now, out of all these people who are waiting execution under death penalty sentence, okay, 8 convicts were executed over a period of 20 years. So only 8 people have been actually hanged in India from 2003 to 2023. Last 20 years time period I have considered. And this last 20-year time period, 8 people who have been executed, most of you must be knowing about those people. So one is Afzal Guru, Yaqub Menon, then Kasab. These 3 people we all know. And then there were, in Nirbhaya case, okay, 4 people were hanged in Nirbhaya case. Okay, so these were the famous cases where death penalty has been actually executed. So 8 convicts were executed over a period of 20 years. So one in West Bengal in 2004, 2 in Maharashtra 2012, 2015, and 5 in Delhi. Okay, 1 in 2013 case, I guess Afzal Guru, and then 2020 में, okay, 4 log. So like that, okay, total 8 people have been executed last 20 years में. So Indian government is not executing the people. We are following some restraint. Okay, but yes, 539 people are waiting the death penalty sentence. Now India saw an execution-free period of 7 years between 2004 and 2012. Okay, so 2004 to 2012 के बीच में there was execution-free period, and then later on when Pranab Mukherjee became president, he successively given lot of death penalties and executed lot of people. Okay, then as per National Law University of Delhi, they conducted one research. Okay, they filed a lot of RTIs, compiled a lot of data, collected a lot of data from all prisons in India, and National Law University of Delhi estimated that 752 people have been executed in India since we become independent country. So from 1947, okay, 750 लोगों को Indian government has given death penalty. भले in last 20 years we have executed only 8 people, okay, but उसके पहले के जो 60-70 साल है, we have executed 752 people in India. Okay, that is very high number. Okay, so independence लेके आज तक we have effectively executed 752 people, and highest number of people who are on death row and waiting for execution of death penalty and are waiting this execution of death penalty in prisons. The highest number of these convicts, okay, are in UP 100, followed by Gujarat 61, Jharkhand 46, and फिर बाकी के अलग अलग states में other people. So highest people who are waiting for death penalty execution, they have been given death penalty sentence. Highest are in UP, Gujarat, followed by Jharkhand. Okay, so this is India's specific scenario, India's specific statistics that I wanted to share with you. Now we'll see global scenario में how many countries give death penalty, how many exercise death penalty, and how many have abolished the death penalty. So there are retentionist country, that is 55 countries are retentionist countries. Then abolitionist in practice countries 23. Retentionist means they fully exercise these death penalties, 55 countries. Abolitionist in practice countries, okay, ki they have the provision in the law, but they are not practicing or giving death sentence. So last एक 25-30 years के time period में किसी को भी they haven't executed. सिर्फ law recognize the death penalty, but they don't give death penalty actually. Okay, then abolition is in practice for ordinary crimes. Okay, so those who abolished it for ordinary crimes and only kept death penalty for exceptional crimes. Okay, not like India कि 22 laws है, legislations we recognize death penalty. सिर्फ only in these countries, 9 countries, death penalty is recognized for severe crimes like sedition, terrorism, ऐसे ही चीज़ों के लिए, and बाकी cases में they have abolished the death penalty. Like that there are 9 countries. Then abolition countries for all crimes, जिन्होंने हर crime के लिए death penalty have been totally abolished. Okay, it is removed from their constitutional legal mandate. Okay, and such a countries are 112. So all 3 countries combined, 144 countries, you can roughly remember the number, directly, indirectly, or effectively, okay, abolished the death penalty. So around 144 countries have abolished death penalty, 55 still practice it, okay, and US is the only G7 country, okay, to still execute the people. अब US में ऐसा है ना कि US में डेथ पेनल्टी एग्जीक्यूशन or law and order is a state subject. And so US as a government, okay, America's central government, federal government cannot abolish death penalty until all state government don't agree. And most of the America के जो state governments है have abolished death penalty, but 5-6 state governments haven't abolished death penalty yet. सो जब तक वो सारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अमेरिका के डेथ पेनल्टी एबॉलिश नहीं करते तो अमेरिका का फेडरल गवर्नमेंट कांट पास और वोट इन इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंसेस इन सपोर्ट ऑफ एबॉलिशमेंट ऑफ डेथ पेनल्टी. सो अभी तक यूएस ओनली कंट्री अमंग G7 कंट्रीज हु प्रैक्टिस द डेथ पेनल्टी. एंड देन डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ टॉप एग्जीक्यूशनर, सबसे ज्यादा डेथ पेनल्टी कौन कंट्रीज दे रही है ये जो 55 कंट्रीज वेयर डेथ पेनल्टी इज गिवन, सबसे ज्यादा डेथ पेनल्टी इज गिवन okay by China, followed by Iran, followed by Saudi Arabia, okay, then Iraq, United States and Pakistan. Okay, so China leads the world in matter of death penalty. सबसे ज़्यादा death penalty China gives. Then second highest is given by Iran. Then third Saudi Arabia. Then Iraq. So Iran, Saudi Arabia and Iraq, Middle East की 3 countries. So largely ये जो Middle East की countries है believed in this very severe physical punishments. ये मेंटालिटी वहाँ पे ज़्यादा है. ओके, लार्जली शरिया गेट गवर्न बाय शरिया विच रिकॉग्नाइज लॉट ऑफ डेथ पेनल्टीज. तो वहाँ पे दिस डेथ पेनल्टी आर प्रैक्टिस्ड. एंड देन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स एंड देन फॉलोड बाय पाकिस्तान. ओके, सो दिस सोर्स ऑफ दिस स्टैटिस्टिक इज एमनेस्टी इंटरनेशनल. ओके, एज पर दिस इज द ग्लोबल सिनेरियो. ओके, सो यू शुड नो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग ग्लोबली. सो नाउ आफ्टर कंसिडरिंग दिस सिनेरियो, okay, we will go into the argument that death penalty, should it be abolished? Okay, is it does it have any utility that if we need to keep it, or if we abolish, will there be any bad consequences, will there be increase in crime, etc. And major argument that we should abolish death penalty is that in most of this argument, major argument that death penalty acts as a deterrent, and because of death penalty there will be less crime. It acts as a deterrent. Okay, so I will just have the one open-ended debate with you. We'll discuss whether death penalty really acts as a deterrent. Okay, and so death penalty acts as a deterrent, one of the most used argument in India or across the world in support of death penalty. Okay, that it acts as a deterrent. So first thing we will debate now is that death penalty acts as a deterrent. Is it? Okay, that whether it is capable of stopping the crime. Okay, so pehle guys, before going into this death penalty ka debate, there are a lot of arguments that why one need to abolish death penalty, and 2-3 arguments that I will give you later on. We'll again debate later on, but 2-3 arguments are, first is that highest liberal argument with respect to fundamental rights, that fundamental rights are given to us by nature, not by any government, religion, society. So only nature can deprive us of fundamental rights. And so state hasn't created the right to life. State hasn't created life. So state shouldn't deprive someone of his life. Okay, so state shouldn't take away the life. Secondly, okay, when you deprive someone of life, it is an irreversible justice. Tomorrow if you by chance came to know that that person wasn't guilty, state won't be able to bring that person back. State won't be able to reverse its justice. So death penalty is a irreversible justice. And in many cases, okay, it has been found that person was not guilty later on. In large percentage of cases where district courts in India give death penalty, High Court, Supreme Court, okay, cancel those death penalties. So this legal jurisprudence is also inconsistent in India. And that's why if we start executing people on the basis of orders of a district courts, okay, then it will be very problematic. Okay, because it will lead to irreversible breakdown of justice. तो ये तो arguments हैं. But one of the major argument that why we need to abolish death penalty, one argument is that every person who is born, okay, is not born as a criminal. No one is born as a criminal. We born and we become part of society, and through socialization, good thing happen to us or bad things happen to us. We either end up being a very good citizen or very bad citizen as a criminal. So maybe 99% person is responsible for the crime he committed. Okay, but 1% वो आदमी is not responsible. That person is not responsible. Okay, there is always an element of societal failure. Now what I mean by there is always element of societal failure, तो issue इतना ही है, our likes, dislikes, personality, attitudes, everything is shaped by our society. So what kind of family we are born in, brought up in, what kind of society we are born and brought up in, largely influences our likes, dislikes, our personality, parivesh, determines everything. And so what I mean simply, okay, that in a case of Nirbhaya rapist, now those who raped Nirbhaya very brutally, they tortured her, murdered her, okay, those rapists, okay, when later on their Aadhaar card say, some journalists trace their locations, that which place they were from, and one rapist was one village in UP, and those journalists went to that village to interview that person. And when they went to that village to interview his family, they asked her, that convict's mother, that आपके बेटे ने ऐसा रेप किया दिल्ली में, एक लड़की को टॉर्चर करके मर्डर किया, डू यू नो अबाउट दिस एटसेट्रा. और उस औरत का रिप्लाई था, उसकी माँ का, कि क्या वो अभी जिंदा है. ओके, जब वो 5-6 साल का था, ही लेफ्ट फॉर द सिटी एंड ही लेफ्ट फॉर दिल्ली, और तब से आगे के 10, 12, 15 साल हो गए थे. He has no contact with the family. Even his parents had absolutely no idea whether he is alive or dead. And such a families exist in India. And point मेरा इतना ही है कि that boy, instead of being born in that family to those parents, okay, had he been born in your family as your brother or brother, then instead of raping someone on the street, okay, he would have been preparing for UPSC with you in the class. And instead of being born in your family as your brother, had he been born in some Ambani Adani's family, okay, he would have been walking with 10-50 girlfriends instead of raping some girl in a bus on a street of Delhi. So where we are born is largely not our part of our, not our choice, not our free will, and largely then society will shape our morality, ethics. Okay, and these socializing agents, so getting right socializing agent is also very important, which is not our choice, not our free will. Okay, so और यही argument थोड़ा extend कर दे तो meritocracy also, guys, why meritocracy is very hollow concept, because guys, meritocracy में if you think that everything I did or achieved on basis of my merit, talent, etc., okay, then that is very hollow argument, because instead of being born in India in some good middle class family who supported you for UPSC, who had money to give you good education and help you complete your graduation, help you get good coaching for UPSC, etc. Had you been born in Kenya, Somalia, then instead of preparing for UPSC, you would be using your talent to hijack the ship. Okay, and doesn't matter how talented and brilliant girl you are. Okay, instead of being born in India, had you been born in Afghanistan, okay, then you would be shot dead if you want to go to school. Okay, and that's why, or if you had been born in Saudi Arabia, forget about being IS, IPS, okay, you would have to struggle even to get a driving license if you are a girl born in Saudi Arabia. And that's why, guys, where you are born, okay, is not totally your choice or free will. And if you are born in good family who supported you, gave you good education, and help you, okay, develop good career, etc., it's largely factors outside you. Okay, so same way in our success, our efforts is only some 25-30% part is our success, 60-70% it's beyond our control. These factors, socializing agents, play a role in our success also. So same way, even in crime, okay, free will of that person is to at some percent it's there, but largely 60-70% free will doesn't play the role. It's also part of society we grow up in, the way we got socialized. Okay, that also matters. And that's why, okay, 99% that person may be responsible for his crime, but 1% there is always an element of societal failure, and that's why then we shouldn't be giving the ultimate punishment in the form of death penalty. तो ये भी एक आर्ग्यूमेंट है इन केस ऑफ डेथ पेनल्टी. और उसके बाद जो ये आर्ग्यूमेंट हमें डिबेट करनी है, दैट वेदर इट एक्ट्स एज अ डेटरेंट, ओके, इज इट एक्ट्स एज अ डेटरेंट, डेथ पेनल्टी. So guys, first understand there are few types of criminals. Okay, first is there are some criminals those who are like suicide bombers, so like Kasab type criminals. Now these suicide bombers, Kasab type criminals, now understand, if there is a death penalty, and if you think death penalty acts as a deterrent, do you think when Kasab and his people came and landed on Mumbai coast and they went on killing the people, do you think they had any backup plan that after killing these people they will run away to Pakistan or will manage to escape to Pakistan? No, these people came to die. Okay, so all these suicide bomber or those who crashed the plane in 9/11 attacks had no escape plan to jump out using parachute out of the plane or so on. These people came to kill they were ready to die. They were the suicide bombers. Okay, and so for such a people, terrorists, suicide bombers, Naxalists, etc., death penalty is never going to act as a deterrent. So even if you have death penalty for such a severe crimes, okay, these people are ready to die, and so death penalty whether acts as a deterrent or not is a very debatable issue. Then uske baad, there are second type of criminals, okay, that is psychopath, cold-blooded criminals, these psychopath, neuropaths, those who commit a crime, who are mentally deranged, okay, those people who don't have the sense of rationality, who don't have any emotional personality, emotional side, they don't have at all any remorse, okay, all such a people, guys, again, when they commit a crime, okay, death penalty doesn't act as a deterrent for them. They don't even understand this side of their that there is a law and there is a death penalty and I will get punished. So for all such a criminals, guys, again, death penalty doesn't act as a deterrent. Then there are third type of criminals, okay, and third type of criminals, that is your people who commit a crime in impulse. Okay, so large number of crime get committed, what we call impulsive crimes. Okay, so impulsive crimes. Now in impulsive crimes, guys, like Mattu Sharma, who shot dead Jessica Lal because she did not serve him a drink. Now all such a criminals who commit a crime or murder someone in impulse, okay, they will regret for rest of their life sitting in a jail or waiting on a death row, okay, that they should not have done that criminal act. But at the moment of committing a crime, they don't think twice. Okay, and that's why, guys, death penalty, okay, will never never acts as a deterrent even for those criminals who commit a crime in impulse. और आपको जनरली बहुत सारी मैं दिल्ली में ऐसे न्यूज़ सुनता हूँ न्यूज़पेपर में कि सीधे कुछ झगड़ा हो गया रोड पे और उसके ऊपर गाड़ी चला दी, ओके, और मर्डर्ड हिम अंडर कार, या पब वगैरह में कोई बवाल हो गया एंड झगड़े में उन्होंने किसी का मर्डर कर दिया. So all such criminals who commit a crime in impulse, okay, for them, okay, even death penalty doesn't act as a deterrent. Okay, and then there is fourth type of criminals who have been profiled in psychology, who commit a crime, normal people. Okay, so these normal criminals, I will not say people, okay, who committed a crime, like not those who committed a crime in impulse or mentally deranged or these suicide bomber like people, other who did any murder, rape, murder, like निर्भया की cases, okay, या किसी ऐसी कोई भी planned जो crime कर रहे हैं, and most of these people who committed a crime, who are waiting for a death penalty in a jails, okay, when these people were interviewed later on, ये सारे लोगों का who had a rationality, who had a good career, who had what do you call ability to reason morally, ethically, okay, who knew there is a law and there is a legal procedure, I will get caught and I will be tried, etc. And in all those criminals, when they have been asked why you commit a crime, when you knew you will end up in a jail, you will end up on a death row, for all those criminals, guys, there was a consistent reply or common reply that criminal psychologist found, and all these criminals had one thing to say, that they thought कि उन्होंने सावधान इंडिया देख देख के, क्राइम पेट्रोल देख देख के, Okay, they have क्या कहते हैं उसे, they have thought that they have created a perfect plan that to murder someone, and they will never get caught, and so legal system will never be able to arrest and try them. But only thing was police outwitted them, police outsmarted them, and they got arrested. Now these people will regret for rest of their lives, but at the moment of committing a crime, okay, when motive, impulse to commit a crime, okay, increases or takes over their rational side, then they don't think, okay, about death penalty, law, or punishment. Okay, all they start thinking, how can I escape the death penalty? How can I plan a perfect crime? Okay, and once this motive takes place, then they will try to make a perfect crime, perfect plan to murder someone. Okay, but after that, okay, police will outsmart them, police will arrest them, police will put them in jail. Okay, wo aage ka part. But that moment, nothing can stop them. And you must have heard about one murder in Mumbai. Okay, Indrani Mukherjee, who murdered her daughter, a very well planned and executed murder. So she called her daughter home, she gave her sedatives in a drink, and when she fainted, she strangulated her, murdered her. Then पूरी उसकी body का makeup करके face का, okay, in the morning they went to Lonavala for a trip, and she used help of her driver in disposing the body. उन्होंने पहले ही जाके विद द ड्राइवर शी हैज लोकेटेड अ स्पॉट, डिग द लैंड, उसने पूरा केरोसिन वुड सब कुछ वहाँ जाके रखा था टू बर्न द हर बॉडी एंड डिपोज द बॉडी, एंड परफेक्टली दे कैरिड द बॉडी, डिपोज द बॉडी, और आगे 1 साल तक नो वन न्यू अबाउट द मर्डर. लेकिन उसके बाद मुंबई पुलिस अरेस्टेड द ड्राइवर इन सम कार रॉबरी केस, and when he was undergoing custodial interrogation, that time he confessed to the police about committing some other crime. He told police that I will tell you about some other crime, okay, but to let him go. And then police came to know about this murder 1 saal baad, and that was a very perfectly carried out crime by that Indrani Mukherjee. And that's why, guys, in all such a cases, okay, this for those criminals also, even if death penalty is there, death penalty doesn't act as a deterrent. They think that they will outwit the system, okay, but police outwit them in the end, and that's why later on they will regret. But while committing a crime, death penalty will never acts as a deterrent for those crimes or criminals. और उसके बाद, okay, there is a 5th category, and that 5th category is not of the criminals, but people like you and me. Okay, now people like you and me, now why we don't commit a crime? Okay, is it because there is the police, is it because there is the law or justice system and we will get punished? So definitely not. We don't commit a crime because most people, okay, we have the basic sense of morality inside us, the value system, virtues, ethics that has been inculcated inside us. And because of that, most of us will never commit a crime, okay, in the first place. Forget about raping and murdering someone. We will not hold other person's hand, any woman's hand, even without her consent or a permission. Okay, and largely, guys, in India, okay, we have this virtue ethics that our family, society inculcates. Large number of people have this civilized enough, and they have good sense of morality, basic sense of morality, that we don't commit a crime. Okay, and that's why, guys, in India, if you consider all state ki jail capacity, central jail ki sari capacity, it won't be more than 20-25 lakhs. How come 140 crore people are there and 20-25 lakh ka jails are enough for them? Okay, because, guys, large percentage of people in India, okay, I will say roughly like 130-135 crore people, okay, will not commit this, have basic sense of morality, okay, and will not commit a crime. Only आगे के जो 4-5 करोड़ क्रिमिनल मेंटालिटी के लोग हैं, okay, उनके लिए we need this jails and entire policing system to maintain the law and order, to keep those people in check. And even we all people, okay, we are taken on an island where there is no legal system, justice system or policing system. Most of us will live in a very civilized manner. अब ये जरावा सेंटिनली जो अंडमान निकोबार में रह रहे हैं, there is no policing system for them, there is no they don't even know there is some भारतीय न्याय संहिता or IPC, CRPC, etc. They live in their close society with their own system, laws, etc. and living in a very civilized way. Okay, and that's why, okay, largely for those people, then we don't even need harsher laws. Okay, with the basic laws and law and order, we will be able to manage, okay, or control the crime. So largely, guys, death penalty, whether it acts as a deterrent, okay, is a very problematic argument. It has no conclusive proof. And again, if death penalty acts as a deterrent, then imagine आज जो death penalty that we are giving, death penalty hanging by neck as per CRPC, hanging by neck till death, this is in a way considered very civilized form of death penalty. Okay, less painful way to murder someone. America or mostly Europe countries where it is being practiced, they consider even hanging by neck is a painful method, so they give death penalty using electric shock or some chemical injections by using those methods. So person will die in a more civilized and peaceful manner. So now, okay, today when we have such a civilized method or less painful methods to murder or deprive someone while executing death penalty, to deprive someone of his life, then imagine, okay, what kind of death penalties we had in our ancient medieval time period. There were very horrible death penalties in ancient medieval time period. Okay, like महाराष्ट्र में push the person off the cliff, या कोई boiling oil हो तो उसमें डाल दो, या हाथी के पैरों के नीचे कुचल दो, या तोफ से उड़ा दो, then flay the skin. Okay, Vikings में जो blood eagle ये था एक method of punishments, बहुत brutal से brutal methods of punishment existed. Okay, so what do you think that medieval time period में wasn't there crimes? Okay, because if there were such a harsher punishment being delivered, then there should not have been any crime in medieval time period. But there is no such a conclusive proof of even that. And okay, death penalty, जो medieval time period का, forget about it. If death penalty acts as a deterrent in today's time, then I told you that there are a large number of countries, like almost 112 countries, have abolished death penalty. Especially Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, most of the countries in Europe. Now, if death penalty acts as a deterrent, in all those countries who abolished death penalty, subsequently, after the abolishment of death penalty, okay, there should have been rise in number of FIRs filed, okay, because now death penalty is abolished, criminals will not feel deterred and criminals will start committing crime. But no, in none of those countries, 112 who abolished death penalty, okay, there wasn't any subsequent rise in crime after abolishing the death penalty, okay, compared to the crimes that were happening before controlling of the or before abolishing the death penalty and after abolishment of death penalty. और उसके लिए guys, because death penalty never acts as a deterrent, what acts as a deterrent, okay, is other three things. And what acts as a deterrent? The first thing, okay, that is certainty of punishment. That you need not hang few criminals, okay, but ensure that most of the criminals end up in jail. There should be certainty of punishment. In India, okay, on an average, every year, 35,000 rape cases get reported. Out of that, around 30% of that, means around 10,000, okay, in rape cases में person gets finally convicted. But ये जो 30,000 cases है guys, okay, per 1 lakh population in India, okay, rape cases are lower than America. तो आपको क्या लगता है? America is more unsafe. So no, this 35,000 cases that get reported, they are the reported cases, okay, and by one estimate, okay, number of rape cases happening in India are 1,50,000 per year. Out of 1,50,000 rape cases that are happening in India, only 35,000 get reported to the police, and out of that only 10,000 cases may someone goes to jail, okay, and so, okay, out of 1,50,000 rapists, only 10,000 go to jail, 1,40,000 are roaming around free, then you won't be able to control crime, rape or murder or crimes against women. So first thing, don't hang even those 10,000 people, okay, but ensure that each and every rapist out of those 1,50,000, each and every one ends up in a jail. So improve certainty of punishment, that deters the crime. गवर्नमेंट का नेशनल क्राइम रिकॉर्ड ब्यूरो का स्टैटिस्टिक्स है कि इंडिया में जितने डाउरी डेथ्स हो रही है, ओके, उसमें यूपी में, ओके, in dowry death cases conviction rate is only 50%. मतलब यूपी में 2000 औरतों की अगर डेथ होती है डाउरी में, तो सिर्फ 1000 केसेस में समवन गोज टू जेल. 1000 केसेस में इवन आफ्टर मर्डरिंग अ वाइफ, दैट हस्बैंड और हिज फैमिली मेंबर रोम अराउंड फ्री. और बिहार में एज पर नेशनल क्राइम रिकॉर्ड ब्यूरो ये स्टैटिस्टिक्स है 30%. मतलब बिहार में अगर 2000 डाउरी डेथ केसेस हो रही है तो जस्टिस सिर्फ 600 केसेस में हो रहा है. 1400 केसेस में murderers are roaming free, a very horrible conviction rate. Okay, then in such a cases, guys, with such a conviction rate, you won't be able to control death penalty, crime at all. So what controls crime first is the certainty of punishment. उसके बाद what controls crime is the quickness of justice system. Delayed justice, justice denied. So you need to speed up the justice system and deliver the justice very speedily. That deters the crime. And third thing, guys, certainty and quickness of justice के साथ, okay, what prohibits crime is that first, don't let the crime happen in the first place. So proactive policing, proactive justice system. Okay, so investigation is one part of the policing which comes into play when crime has taken place. But there is another task that policing also has to ensure, that is maintenance of law and order. So don't let the crime happen in the first place. Develop the systems, okay, where crime is deterred in the first place. Okay, and what Kejriwal is doing in Delhi, increasing CCTV cameras per square mile. Delhi, one of the Asia की leading city बन रही है. So if you have more CCTV cameras, there will be you will be able to improve conviction rate, and you will be able to monitor and even reduce crime. So you need such a systematic solutions, okay, to improve your law and order system and ensure that crime doesn't take place in the first place. And even if crime happens, then there should be certainty of punishment and very quickness of justice system. That what determines control over the crime. And death penalty as such has proved to be not having very much utility in deterring the crime. And that's why death penalty, not about death penalty, severity of punishment has no direct relation with the control of the crime as such, jitna certainty of punishment has a relation with control of the crime. और सबसे सीवियर पनिशमेंट जो है मिडल ईस्ट एक्सरसाइजेस, स्टोनिंग टू डेथ से लेके बहुत ब्रूटल डेथ पेनल्टी, और बहुत ज़्यादा रेट से डेथ पेनल्टीज आर गिवन इन मिडल ईस्ट. Okay, but one of the highest crime rates are there in Middle East, and one of the lowest or very low or less severe punishments are given, and almost death penalty has been abolished, and very less severe punishments are given in Scandinavian countries, etc. They have one of the lowest crime rates. Okay, but guys, we still have to debate, discuss all this debate point by point आगे के slides में. But just to conclude now, एक basic argument पे, that yes, death penalty should be abolished, but I told you that maybe 1% he is not responsible for his crime. There is always element of societal failure, but 99% I said maybe he is responsible for his crime. Okay, he should have been more ethical, more moral. He should have been able to control his impulses. So 99% is responsible for his crime. So I am not saying that that person should we should let him go, pardon him, so he can commit a crime or so on. We need to control these hardened criminals, but death penalty is not the solution or answer. So or by death penalty, crime will get curtailed. Okay, but then the way America, Europe does, if you see any कोई famous case होती है वहाँ पे, okay, see the quantum of punishments. Okay, 150 साल की सजा, 200 years in jail, 150 years in jail. Okay, there was one businessman. Okay, he has sexually molested lot of teenage girls. और finally जब उसको arrest हुआ and all these girls confessed about this sexual molestation, etc. Okay, हर वो एक girl who he molested, okay, हर उस गर्ल के लिए उसको अलग 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 सजा देके he got around 200-250 years in jail. Okay, so that criminal is going to be in jail rest of the time. Okay, or even if he behaves good, his life sentence got reduced by the government, etc. Still 100 years in jail. Only his dead body is going to come out. So we need to change the laws, okay, where we will keep all these hardened criminals like Nirbhaya rapists forever in the jail. Only dead bodies will come out. But only that death penalty, okay, that we need to abolished because it proves no utility, especially as a deterrent. उसके अलावा जो arguments है that we'll see now. Okay, so we will now sum up all these arguments and we'll put them in structured form. So death penalty abolishment argument against why we shouldn't abolish death penalty. So we discuss argument from both the sides. So first argument that we discussed, death penalty acts as a deterrent. So human behaviors are byproduct of the reward and punishment mechanisms. So largely our behavior is decided by reward and punishments. One of the major important theory for shaping attitudes, values in psychology is reward and punishments. So largely we develop our morality also through reward and punishments from authority figure, okay, that is family, parents, mother, father, etc. So directly Kohlberg, one psychologist, has given one theory, Kohlberg stages of moral development. In that he developed how morality showed how morality develops in 6 stages. Okay, so in those 6 stages of moral development, first 2 stages, okay, what Kohlberg says that morality largely gets developed as a byproduct of reward and punishment from an authority figure. And so, yes, reward and punishment play a role in shaping our morality, and so does shaping our values, whether criminal orientation or not. Then in India, we practice death penalty. Okay, so whether death penalty acts as a deterrent or not, whether it has utility or not, sab theek hai. Lekin in India, we practice death penalty with extreme restraint. And Supreme Court has already, in state of Punjab versus Bachan Singh case, has clearly said to practice death penalty on the rarest of the rare, in rarest of the rare cases. And so, Supreme Court in Bachan Singh versus state of Punjab case pronounced it to be practiced responsibly and only in rarest of the rare cases. Okay. Then secondly, it has a legal constitutional mandate, okay, practice with the doctrine of procedure established by law, due process of law. We don't give arbitrary death penalty, we don't give arbitrary punishments. We give death penalty in rarest of the rare cases, and that is given through a constitutional legal mandate, through due process of law, procedure established by law. We don't exercise death penalty in a in uncivilized way, or we don't practice it, okay, in a autocratic manner. We practiced in a constitutional mandate through procedure established by law and by due process of law. Then satisfying collective conscience and keep faith in justice system alive. Okay, and जब निर्भया के रेपिस्ट को कि जब डेथ पेनल्टी दिल्ली डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट ने दी, केस हाई कोर्ट में गई, एंड हाई कोर्ट इवन अफेल्ड द डेथ पेनल्टी. सो व्हेन हाई कोर्ट अफेल्ड द डेथ पेनल्टी, उस टाइम हाई कोर्ट ने जो स्टेटमेंट यूज किया था कि डेथ पेनल्टी देने से इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू डू जस्टिस टू निर्भया. उसकी तो डेथ हो गई, वेदर शी इज नॉट गोइंग टू कम बैक, एंड इवन इफ इट गिव्स जस्टिस, ओके, इन डेथ पेनल्टी केसेस, ओके, उससे कुछ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इंप्रूव होगा, कंडीशंस इंप्रूव होगी, सोसाइटी की मेंटलिटी टुवर्ड्स वीमेन विल चेंज, एंड सोसाइटी विल स्टार्ट रिस्पेक्टिंग वीमेन, एंड देयर वोंट बी रेप एटसेट्रा. Okay, court was knowing that this death penalty is largely a retributive justice. It is not going to do or make any changes. But despite that, जिस साल इनको डेथ पेनल्टी अनाउंस हुई थी 2016 में, okay, उस साल इंडिया में as per National Crime Record Bureau, highest number of rape cases got reported. Okay, so death penalty acts as a deterrent is a very, I told you, debatable thing. But court in that verdict said that we are giving this death penalty because to satisfy the collective conscience and to keep the faith in justice system intact, we are delivering the death penalty. So court का कहना क्या था कि we know that this death penalty, okay, is not going to have much utility, okay, but we are giving this death penalty to keep the faith in justice system alive. Okay, if we don't deliver death penalty, people's faith in justice system will get weakened, and that will be more problematic. So it doesn't matter it has utility or not, but to keep faith in justice system alive. And secondly, to satisfy collective conscience, because crores of Indian people were shocked with the way Nirbhaya was murdered, the way she was tortured, and so their collective conscience demands it. And to satisfy that collective conscience, we need to deliver death penalty. If we don't satisfy that collective conscience, people will lose faith in the justice system, and that will be more problematic, because if people think that justice system doesn't give them the justice, okay, then justice will start happening on the street, okay, and that will be very problematic thing. And that's why, okay, to satisfy collective conscience and keep faith in justice system, so Supreme Court in Delhi gang rape case upheld the death penalty in the name of satisfying collective conscience. Okay, and one argument that Indian government also uses to support death penalty, that India faces soaring threats like militancy, insurgency, Naxalism, and to deal with all these soaring threats, we need to deliver the death penalty. Okay, and that's why argument in support why we need to deliver death penalty. Now we'll see the argument against, okay, abolishment of death penalty. Why we need to abolish death penalty. So usme guys, first, no demonstrated utility in deterring crime or in incapacitating offenders. ये point I have explained you in detail. कि it has not proved in psychology, in criminal psychology, that death penalty has any utility to deter crime or incapacitating the offenders. And so, decline in murder rate in India has coincided with decline in rate of executions. And even it is observed in India. कि इंडिया में हमने पिछले 20 साल में सिर्फ 8 पीपल वी हैव एग्जीक्यूटेड, उससे पहले जो 70 एक साल हो गए, ओके, उन 60-70 सालों में वी एग्जीक्यूटेड, ओके, मोर देन 740 पीपल. But that time crime rate was very high. But last 20 years, when you executed less people, even this less execution is coincided with drop in crime rates per 1 lakh population. And so decline in murder rate in India has coincided with decline in rate of executions. Also, experience in USA shows no increase in crime rates in state which abolished it and vice versa. Okay, and experience in USA shows no increase in crime rates, okay, in states which abolished death penalty. कि those countries who abolished death penalty, their crime rate got reduced, crime rate suddenly increased? No. Even in those countries, crime rate reduced with abolishment of death penalty. And those countries who practice death penalty, there is less crime. ये भी established नहीं है. Even those countries who practice death penalty are those countries with the highest crime rates. Okay, like mostly Middle East countries. Then ineffective for psychopath criminals, terrorists with suicidal tendencies, or those who commit a planned crimes and for crimes committed in impulsive situation. Okay, so it is ineffective for psychopaths, criminals, terrorists, okay, or for those planned criminals who plan properly and plan to commit a crime. उनके लिए death penalty doesn't act as a deterrent. This argument I have discussed with you in detail just now. And then this raises question about whether the death penalty has any greater deterrent effect than the life imprisonment. And so largely, okay, death penalty doesn't have any greater impact as a deterrent, okay, compared to life imprisonment. So if you have a life imprisonment, कि 100-150-200 साल जेल में रखो उसे, only his dead body will come out. So even if you have life imprisonment, it is equally deters, okay, compared to death penalty. और कुछ लोगों का जो कहना है कि rather, it's a very negative argument, don't use it, but psychology में ये भी एक argument की जाती है. Those who support abolishment of death penalty, but in a negative way. तो कुछ लोगों का कहना है कि डेथ पेनल्टी ये जो निर्भया के रेपिस्ट को दी गई इज अ वेरी इजी वे आउट फॉर देयर क्राइम्स. यू जस्ट हैंग देम एंड इट फिनिश्ड. नो, फॉर द क्राइम दे कमिटेड दे शुड बी टॉर्चर्ड मोर. ओके, ये रेट्रिब्यूटिव मेंटालिटी है, बट ये भी एक आर्ग्यूमेंट है. एंड डेथ पेनल्टी इज वेरी क्विक रिलीज or quick justice for their crimes, okay, or quick punishment for their crime. They should be given very torturous punishment the way they tortured Nirbhaya. So death penalty के जगह पे for rest of the life they should be given life imprisonment, and that is psychologically more distressing than a death penalty. Your entire life you are going to go in those 4 walls of a jail. Okay, it is extremely punishable. You are just waiting to spending your day in those 4 walls, okay, day after day, okay, waiting to die, and someday day will come and you will die. This is extremely torturous, and that's why even life imprisonment, उनका कुछ argument है लोगों का, is equally deterrent as a death penalty, and death penalty does not prove to have any more utility as such. And so this raises a question about whether the death penalty has any greater deterrent effect than life imprisonment. Then arbitrary sentencing of capital punishment, okay, turned lethal lottery. अभी एक major problem है. Now in support in death penalty, we said that we give death penalty as per Supreme Court की जो guideline है, that it should be given only in rarest of the rare cases. But this rarest of the rare doctrine has been broken, even Supreme Court says so. And every judge gives the death penalty as per his own judgment discretion, and that's why arbitrarily death penalty gets sentenced. So arbitrary sentencing of capital punishment turned lethal lottery, and in most cases courts affirm or refuse to affirm the death penalty without laying down legal principles. कोई एक clear cut legal principle नहीं है. Rarest of the rare is a very open-ended term, and so हर जज को लगता है कि the case that he is dealing is a rarest of the rare, and he uses his discretion, thinks it is the rarest of the rare, and gives the death penalty. And so rarest of the rare doctrine का कोई legal principle नहीं है. It's a very subjective term, open-ended term, and that's why there is no legal principle backing the term rarest of the rare. And death penalty jurisprudence is not consistent in India. Judgments depend on individual judges' predilection, his own biases, his own discretions, and they play a role in the death penalty more than that judge's own some rational objective judgment. Largely their judgment get influenced by biases, discretion, or their own predilections, etc. और यही है, because you need to give very objective governance, you need to deliver very objective justice. ये बहुत जस्टिस चंद्रचूड़ का एक बहुत फेमस स्टेटमेंट है, okay, that I use in my ethics lecture about objectivity and subjectivity in governance में, that I judge without being judgmental. It's a very classic, very awesome statement by Justice Chandrachud, that I judge without being judgmental. Means I try to keep my biases, preferences, dislikes, okay, my ego, everything aside, and try to give judgment on extremely rational parameters on basis of merit, criteria, conditions, okay, and that's what every judge should do. But in rarest of the rare, it's such a subjective term that every judge biases, preferences come into play. And secondly, long delays leading to extreme agony, ये भी एक major issue है. Now guys, Indian constitution में it clearly says double jeopardy is not allowed. Indian constitution clearly mentions this point, double jeopardy is not allowed, and principle of natural justice also mandate you that there shouldn't be double jeopardy. Okay, you can't punish this person twice for the same crime. लेकिन इसमें एक glitch है guys. Double jeopardy should not be given by the justice system. Okay, कि एक आदमी ने कुछ रेप किया, 7 years he was in jail, he comes out and then you arrest him and say 7 साल पहले you have committed a crime and now we are giving you putting you in jail again for 7 years. No, justice system can't punish someone for the crime twice. Double jeopardy is not allowed that way. But for a same crime, justice system can punish once and executive can punish separately, and that is totally legally constitutionally allowed. Means someone gets arrested in corruption case, he goes to jail, okay, for 3 years, and he can't, after 3 years he comes out of jail and he can't say, okay, that I should be appointed on my government post again after 3 years, give me my back my government post. No, jail justice system can send you to jail for doing corruption, but executive means your department can terminate your posting, okay, remove you from the job as an executive punishment. So justice judicial system का punishment is different, executive system का punishment different. Two punishment are separate, and you can't punish the criminal for the same crime twice by justice system. Now in India, okay, legally double jeopardy is not allowed, okay, but okay, India में about double jeopardy there is an issue between legality and morality. Now what I mean by issue between legality and morality? Now understand, in India, when double jeopardy is not allowed by justice system, so High Court gave death penalty to Kasab, Afzal Guru, Yaqub Benan, jinko bhi. Now police system or executive should have hanged that person even next day itself after death penalty, pronouncement of death penalty verdict. You should have hanged the person next day itself, but and there wouldn't be any issue. But point है कि इंडिया में there is one executive process that is okay mercy petition. Now this mercy petition is not right of the individual. Okay, it's not fundamental right, it's not constitutional legal right. Mercy petition is shown by executive on its own discretion. So if executive wants, they can send his file for a mercy petition to a governor or a president, which has become norm. It's not the right of the person. Mercy petition is executive grants. It's a clemency that executive grants. So even if you refuse mercy petitions, don't send it to governor or president, person can be hanged. Now when mercy petition is exercised, the clemency is exercised and permission letter is sent to the governor president, they will have to take a decision whether to give him death penalty or not. But as we know, president or governor are just a nominal heads. They don't have real executive power. So decision whether to reduce his death penalty or pardon it, commute it, remit it, whatever, is taken by the cabinet of the center or cabinet of the state, and they will advise governor or president on the matter. And now, so when Home Ministry sends the file of mercy petition to president, president will consult cabinet has to give reply, and then president or governor same way will take a decision. But in most of these cases में ये जो process है, that executive Home Ministry sending file to president sending file to cabinet replying on that file, okay, ये जो time period है is a executive का delay, and so executive का delay is not get counted, okay, as a judicial delay. वो एग्जीक्यूटिव ने डिले किया, एंड दैट्स व्हाई अफजल गुरु को 20 साल बाद भी हैंग किया. इट्स नॉट डबल जियोपार्डी, ओके, टेक्निकली, लीगली, बिकॉज 20 years डिले वाज डन बाय एग्जीक्यूटिव, व्हाइल डेथ पेनल्टी justice system only punished once. Okay, so legally तो this is not a double jeopardy technically, but morally it's a indirectly double jeopardy. And because of this delay in executive in disposing the mercy petitions, okay, it is indirectly causing the double jeopardy. And so long delays is leading to extreme agony. So people sentenced in India face long delays in trials and appeals, and during this time prisoners on death row suffer from extreme agony, anxiety, fear arising out of imminent yet uncertain execution. तो पहले तो ये जो डेथ पेनल्टी है इज मोरली रॉन्ग, क्योंकि एग्जीक्यूटिव का भी डिले तो आखिर डिले ही है. तो यू आर गिविंग लाइफ इंप्रिजनमेंट प्लस डेथ पेनल्टी, 20 साल की सजा एंड अगेन डेथ पेनल्टी. एंड इन दिस केसेस व्हेन यू वेट फॉर डेथ पेनल्टी, यू डोंट नो कल गवर्नर रिप्लाई करेगा, कल प्रेसिडेंट का ये आएगा कि डेथ पेनल्टी mercy has been declined, hang him. That criminal doesn't know whether he will get hanged tomorrow or day after tomorrow or 1 month or 2 months later or in 5 years or 10 years, 20 years. He just waits to die, and that is psychologically is very distressing. Okay, and people suffer from extreme agony, anxiety, fear arising out of a imminent yet uncertain execution. And that's what happened in Nirbhaya rape case में जो 6 लोग थे who tortured her. One was a juvenile, he was allowed to let go after 3 years in jail, okay, or reform home. And out of remaining 5, 4 have been hanged in 2020. But एक जो है ना, he committed suicide in 2013, okay, within 1 month when he was arrested. He couldn't live with that fear, agony, distress, okay, and he committed suicide in the police custody itself. And that's what this waiting is psychologically very distressing, is very anxiety producing, and that's why it's very psychologically cruel, and also one way morally is a kind of double jeopardy, and that's why death penalty need to be abolished. Okay, उसके बाद liberal view, okay, that it's a state sponsored killing. Okay, state, this point I have told you in the beginning, that state hasn't created life, then state shouldn't deprive life, because if tomorrow state realizes mistake, state won't be able to bring his life back, and it will be as good as irreversible breakdown of justice. अभी एक यूपी में एक वैसा इंसिडेंट हुआ था कि एक वन बॉय वाज इन जेल फॉर मे बी मर्डरिंग हिज गर्लफ्रेंड, ओके, और उसके 14 साल बाद व्हेन ही वाज इन जेल, ओके, दैट गर्ल who he might have kidnapped and murdered, okay, was found to be living with her boyfriend in some other city, another place, okay, और 11-12 साल बाद then this person was let go of. Then अक्षरधाम केस में the people who were arrested 11-12 साल, those boys, 10-12 boys were in jail, और 10-12 साल बाद in अक्षरधाम case they were released at not guilty, okay, and that's what guys, this is then irreversible justice. But death penalty में तो it's very irreversible. You can't compensate person, you can't bring his life back. And so if state can't create life, state shouldn't deprive life. State can at max put them for life in a jail, but shouldn't give death penalty. So liberal view is it's a state-sponsored killing. State has not created life and have no right to take away life. Right to life okay, is most supreme right and can't be defrauded of, and it will lead to irreversible miscarriage of justice. So according to Innocence Project statistics, there have been 312 people who have been exonerated in the United States based on new DNA evidences, and 18 of those who were exonerated were on death row. Okay, so 18 people who were on death row, given death penalty, were later on released in United States when new advanced DNA evidences technology became available. Okay, and that's why, guys, it is a very dangerous thing in a way if it leads to irreversible breakdown or miscarriage of justice. Okay, then it is a sort of double jeopardy. This also I told you, that delay in application of appeal and execution delay not taken into account. Okay, then largely it is a retributive justice. This point also I told you. This is one form of retributive violence by state and promotes bloodthirsty lynch mentality कि state sponsored this murder. और जो इंडिया में ये mob lynching mentality is very tremendously growing. Government after 2015 has stopped publishing the cases of mob lynching that are happening. और ये जो mob lynching की mentality है, largely in mob lynching cases that are happening in India, ये mob lynchings जो भी चल रही है, largely इसके पीछे there is extreme retributive mentality. Okay, to people want quick justice, and people ये mentality that people want to take justice in their hand. और बहुत बार आपने सुना होगा कसाब की केस, मेनी अदर केसेस में देयर इज अ डिमांड कि इनको चौक में फांसी दो, हैंग देम पब्लिकली इन सम पब्लिक प्लेस. अब ये जो मेंटालिटी है, रेट्रिब्यूटिव मेंटालिटी, ओके, दैट shows that in Indian people's mind there is extreme retributive justice. They want revenge. Now guys, retributive justice only satisfy people's ego, okay, their violent ego that wants justice. But जो victim है, निर्भया की डेथ हो गई, वो हैदराबाद केस में उसकी डेथ हो गई, they are not going to come back. Okay, and that's why, okay, in this retributive justice never gives, actually does the justice. Okay, but ये जो retributive justice है, if when we give death penalty, it supports that retributive mentality, and it is one form of retributive violence by state and promotes bloodthirsty lynch mentality. कि लोग डिमांड कर रहे हैं to satisfy that we give death penalty. Okay, we are satisfying their bloodthirsty mentality, and while civilized society is built on the foundation of reformative justice. Okay, and in civilized society we should be acting on a basis of reformative justice. Okay, which based on correcting the behavior. Okay, correction is our motto, reform is our motto of our civilized justice system. We are not part of anymore that old retributive justice system कि फैमिली में एक में मर्डर किया तो पूरी खानदान का मर्डर कर दो, द वे मिडिवल टाइम में चीज़ें होती थी. टुडे वी आर पार्ट ऑफ सिविलाइज सोसाइटी एंड अंडरस्टैंड कि ये जो हैंगिंग बाय नेक टिल डेथ, और वो भी जेल में जो सजा दी जाती है, व्हाई डोंट वी हैंग पीपल इन पब्लिक प्लेसेस? देयर इज अ रीजन गाइज व्हाई वी डोंट हैंग पीपल इन पब्लिक प्लेसेस, जो शरिया में होता है कि स्टोनिंग टू डेथ इन पब्लिक. बिकॉज गाइज, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू सीन मर्डर हैपनिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू? ओके, वी आर फार अवे फ्रॉम सच अ वायलेंट इन्सिडेंसेस, and because we don't get exposed to violence every day, okay, we are not so much primed to commit a violence. Lekin when you start hanging public in murdering people in public, okay, satisfying their retributive mentality, okay, this will desensitize people to violence. People will get primed for violence, and more such a violent incidents will start happening on a street every day. And that's why, to control this bloodthirsty mentality, okay, in Enlightenment period, when we created this new justice system, okay, we did away with such a brutal murders, public display or gulliton in public place. All these things we stopped, and we started to deliver just death penalty in some jail ke room mein in front of 3-4 people only, and that in a very peaceful, in a very isolated, secluded conditions, not in front of a public. We don't do a public drama of death penalty. Okay, and this ensures that society don't get desensitized to the violence. Okay, and indirectly, yes, state-sponsored death penalty also indicates this same mentality. And then rarest of the rare doctrine broken down. So out of 100 death sentences by trial court, 4.5% are upheld in higher courts, while 30% are acquitted. Then ये भी एक problem है कि death penalty we asked to give to the Supreme Court has asked to exercise in rarest of the rare cases. But this rarest of the rare doctrine is so much broken that, see the statistics, in India, out of 100 death penalty that have been given by trial courts, district courts in India can give death penalty. Okay, and out of 100 people who are given death penalty by district courts, okay, 4.5% cases, only in 4.5% cases, death penalty is upheld by higher courts. Okay, so criminals में 5 criminally death penalty have been upheld by the higher courts. Well, understand उसके आगे का dangerous number, और ये NCRB का number है, not my number. Okay, 30% cases में people are acquitted by the higher courts. They were released, let go up. तो 100 में 30 लोगों को जो डेथ पेनल्टी दी थी डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट ने, हायर कोर्ट लेट देम गो. इमेजिन इफ वी हैड एक्सरसाइज डेथ पेनल्टी for those 30 people, that district court has given the death penalty. So much this rarest of the rare doctrine is broken, and so much there is an inconsistent legal jurisprudence in India on this matter. And then socioeconomic bias in justice system. There is extreme socioeconomic bias in justice system. Okay, socioeconomic status of the convicts reflect in sentencing of judgments. और ये सोशियो इकोनॉमिक बायस बहुत प्रॉब्लमेटिक चीज है, दैट आई विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल. 94% कन्विक्टेड आर दलित और रिलीजियस माइनॉरिटीज, रिफ्लेक्ट सिस्टमैटिक बायस एंड स्ट्रक्चरल डिसएडवांटेज इन जस्टिस सिस्टम. अभी याद रखना गाइस कि ये जो आई टोल्ड यू नंबर कि 752 पीपल हैव बीन गिवन डेथ पेनल्टी बाय नाउ फ्रॉम इंडिपेंडेंस, एंड 539 540 अराउंड विच आर वेटिंग फॉर ऑन अ डेथ पेनल्टी रो. ये जो डेथ पेनल्टी हैज बीन गिवन, इफ एन यू डू सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एनालिसिस ऑफ दिस डेथ पेनल्टीज, वी क्लियरली ऑब्जर्व, okay, that 95% cases में people who have been given death penalty are people from Dalit community, SC/ST community, or people from a religious minority, Muslim communities. And also economically, if you observe, then largely, okay, 80-90% cases में those people who have given death penalty are people from poor socio-economic background. Issue इतना ही है guys, if you are Mattu Sharma and if your father is a cabinet minister in some Haryana government and he has the money to afford lawyer like Ram Jethmalani for you, then despite murdering, okay, J.C. Kalal in front of 200-300 public on a CCTV camera in pub of Delhi, you will come out of the district court not guilty. Okay, and that's what actually the way legal system is working in India. There is extreme systematic bias, and if you have got a good lawyer, okay, have a money, okay, you will not get death penalty, or even judges' biases get reflect, okay, while sentencing the people on a death penalty. While if you get a state government ka lawyer who is not good enough, then you will get a death penalty. Supreme Court itself has said that death penalty in India has become lethal lottery. Okay, you are poor and can't afford a good lawyer, you are SC/ST or from Muslim community, okay, you will get a death penalty. If you are a rich person who can afford lawyer like Ram Jethmalani, you will not get a death penalty. So this jurisprudence has totally broken. There is systematic biases in legal jurisprudence, और ये bias you will see in policing system also. Okay, now Hyderabad में the girl got raped, 4-5 truck drivers were there in the rape case, and all these 4-5 truck drivers were murdered. तो ये जो I will record separate lecture about police doing encounters, कि whether it is it's legal, illegal, ethical, unethical, उस aspect पे. But IPS who murdered those people, okay, in encounter, they were running away from the scene of crime, and so they were shot dead. Okay, people called him Singham, even people showered him with the flowers and everything. But I just have one simple question. That IPS who investigated that Hyderabad ka case, okay, instead of that case, suppose now that IPS has been transferred to Delhi and given a charge of Asaram Bapu's case, will he take Asaram Bapu to scene of crime? Asaram Bapu has also raped, murdered many teenage girls even. Will he take Asaram Bapu to scene of crime, and will he encounter Asaram Bapu because he was trying to escape? Or same IPS, he was transferred to Unnao ka rape case, जो यूपी में कुलदीप सेंगार, that MLA, okay, raped a girl, even murdered her family to stop her from prosecuting him. If he was taken to that MLA ka case, will he take that MLA to a scene of crime, and will he encounter that MLA in a encounter? तो ये जो IPS है, okay, वो ट्रक ड्राइवर उनकी फैमिली क्या करेगी, पुअर फैमिलीज एटसेट्रा, एनकाउंटर देम, नथिंग विल हैपन. This is what systematic bias. But if he is some very rich person, okay, he then or very from a higher socioeconomic background, person belonging to that, who could afford lawyers or his family could afford very good lawyers, then he will not get encountered. So same IPSC is transferred to Indrani Mukherjee ki case, okay, then he will never be taking her to the scene of crime and will be encountering her. And that's what then justice system or policing system, there are systematic biases, okay, and that shows even in exercise of death penalty, 95% convicts are from poor socio-economic background, backward social conditions or poor economic backgrounds. And so then if you are giving only death penalty to poor people and not rich, or only to lower caste than not higher caste, then better than abolish it for everyone. So just to conclude this debate now, death penalty abolishment conclusion. So guys, generally, now to conclude this debate, there were two observations that I want to mention. When communities surveyed, large number of people were surveyed on a parameter regarding whether death penalty should be there or not by many agencies who work to abolish death penalty worldwide. And they observed that large percentage of male support death penalty compared to females who support abolishment. And so because male are more, have violent tendencies and they want justice also to happen in a violent manner psychologically, while female are not so prime to violence and so they don't believe in extremely violent justice. So there is a higher percentage of men that are in favor than women, because we can see that men and women think different. Maybe, okay, the males prefer radical solution, violent solution, and female and more aggressive solution than women. And same observation too, from global scenario, we conclude that more educated societies are, okay, they support death penalty, they support abolishment of death penalty, while less educated societies are, they believe in harsher punishment in the form of death penalty. And largely Occidental part of the world, that is Europe, America, Western part, supports abolishment of death penalty, while Oriental part largely exercises death penalty. So from global scenario, we conclude that Oriental part of the world, there are the countries which still have death penalty in their laws. And at least in the Occidental part, we just have USA with 52 people on death row. So Oriental countries believe more in death penalty compared to Occidental part of the world. तो एक दो ऑब्जर्वेशन है, मेल सपोर्ट मोर डेथ पेनल्टी दैन फीमेल्स एंड ओरिएंटल सपोर्ट मोर डेथ पेनल्टी दैन occidental part of the world. And so to conclude guys, this about what India should do, shouldn't do. Okay, so first of all guys, this death penalty jurisprudence has been handed over to us through IPC, CRPC and most of the laws, Army Act, Navy Act से लेके by the British. And so it is largely colonial legacy जिसपे there wasn't any comprehensive debate in India. And so death penalty jurisprudence was handed down by British. No parliamentary debate took place in post-independent India about this, or some kind of referendum or some social debate or some reform law commissions to debate this issue. And so law is an evolutionary process. But guys, even if we take referendum, like mostly in Britain they took referendum about Brexit or Scottish referendum, etc. So even if you take referendum in India now on death penalty, large number of people will support it, because we need to have a social debate the way we had in our lecture on all these parameters. We need to explain the people all these parameters, and only when social debates happen, mature social debates happen, and when society is ready, we should move to abolish death penalty. Even if society is not ready and we went to abolish death penalty, that will be problematic, because people will lose faith in justice system. And that's why, okay, laws should reflect the social conditions, social realities. Okay, both should go parallelly. Okay, law should try to improve social system, and as social system improves, law should improve. Both should go parallelly, and that's why law is the evolutionary process and should evolve with the society and should reflect socio-cultural realities. Okay, comprehensive social debate should take place before abolishment of death penalty, and so there should be comprehensive social debate before we abolish any form of death penalty. Okay, so that's all for now regarding death penalty. I hope you understood this debate in detail. Now I will have separate lecture about this encounters, that extrajudicial murders, whether it is good, bad, about this. And then why this mob lynching mentality? Generally in India, this mentality is promoted that we should mob lynch people, hang these people in public. So there is in India, strong demand for severe punishments. Why they don't work? So I will also upload lectures on them, so stay tuned for that. And also check out my other lectures on Darshanik IAS YouTube channel. And join me on UPSC Ethics 4, my Telegram channel, to download these notes. And you can download my app Darshanik by Kadam sir from Google Play App Store, where I will be launching my ethics and essay courses soon. So do take advantage of those courses, which will be one-stop solution for all your essay and ethics needs, where we will have all such a debates about ethics, ethical issue, moral issue, social issue in a very comprehensive manner. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for listening.